Hello everyone, I'm Extra Cheesy 87 and this is Let's Play Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Part 19? I think it's 19. In the previous video, we finished up the second investigation period for the chapter, and now it's time to do the trial where we're gonna stick it to Shark Boy. Like a harpoon. Well, this is it. Today's the day it all goes down. And then there was yesterday. Hey, in case you don't remember something that happened literally 14 seconds ago in-game, this meeting's over. Sorry. Just give us 5 more minutes. We can call him back after that. Sorry, no go. Come on, Piano Boy. Shark Boy and Piano Boy. The new hit movie is gonna rock the year 2007, 2008. I don't know when this game came out. Probably around then, right? Hey, Apollo. Didn't want to hear. Yeah. I mean, we just saw this last video. I mean, granted, that flashback doesn't bother me as much because it is after to be continued, and technically it has been like a day or so since I last recorded this. But, in general, they annoy me, and I think I know why. Time to bring down a little justice. What was that? He is heard but unseen. Who's that talking? Valiant Grammarly? Using the door like an average muggle, no less. You aren't the witness today, are you, Uncle Valent? A preposterous proposition. How could I stand to stand upon the stand? Why, my secrets would be free for the plucking. I might even have to sign autographs. That is why I intend to remain hidden for the entire day, but they can see you right now. Oh, is vanishing magic? Indeed, I will jump upon an express train and express myself to the next town over. But before I go, a word of warning. Warning? What? A grand Grammarly glamour resides at the root of all that has happened. Do not forget this truth. A glamour? A spell, a sorcery, a great illusion. Miss Trucy, though it pains me to part so, I need to get in line for a ticket. Farewell! Here he goes. You sure seem happy about that illusion thing. Big illusions are the bread and butter of a magician. Can't pull off a show without one. Big illusion's always a spectacle to remember. Usually involves cutting up things like people or elephants or the Eiffel Tower, anything really. So he was talking about what we saw at the concert. Amiro's disappearing act. Prosecutor Gavin's exploding guitar. I wonder what he meant by being at the root of all that has happened. Well, it's about time. Shall we go? Excuse me, sir. Yes? Scheduled starting time for the trial has been changed. The trial will not be commencing until 10:30 a.m. Sorry for the inconvenience. Huh? Did something happen? This is a first. It was by the judge's request. Some urgent personal business. Great. Bet he stayed up too late last night too, watching courtroom dramas. Well, I mean, it might be, yeah, this whole hospital thing they've been hinting at. Apparently he's visiting the hospital again. Something about how the food there is to die for? The hospital? I believe it was mentioned that the Chief Justice's son is unwell. Apparently his condition worsened considerably this morning. Chief Justice's son? Oh, that's right. Remember yesterday morning the judge said he had to go visit him after the trial? Oh my god, it's Incuratus. I mean, what makes it, like, kind of funny to me is that it's, like, it almost could be the real name of an incurable disease because sometimes those science names are dumb, but the way it's presented, where they're like, the egg is used to cure incurable diseases, like this one called Incuratus, is just so on the nose. There's an article about it in the newspaper. You care to read about it yourself. First case in country. Incuratus? Where have I heard this before? Apollo, this sounds like time for a flashback. I'll let you read the article for us, Apollo. Just leave the TV Guide page to me. I'm gonna choose the page of the funnies if you can. I mean, does it say anything else? Try and read it. No, just first case in the country. Oh god, scary fucking line, dude. Oh, it's like it's going up, but it could mean anything. Boy, I sure do love going to hospital I mean, it does like there could be a name and it's just cut off, but... My apologies for the delay. Court is now in session for the trial of, how do you say his name again? Maki Tobe. That, I guess me saying it out loud, doesn't really mean anything, because I don't know how to pronounce it either. Our suspect Fortissimo. Right. It's his trial in any case. Defense is prepared, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready to rock. Something wrong, Your Honor? You know, it's a little tuckered out. Well, yes. It's just I've been friends with the Chief Justice since we were students. 3,000 years ago. We were big fans of Hammurabi. It pains me to see him going through such a difficult time. Curatus, was it? That article said there's no known cure. Except for sticking an egg up your... Her judge, let me say with all honesty, I feel your pain. But now is not the time for tears. Now it's time for law. Indeed. Left off at quite the juncture yesterday. I'm a shark. Rah. Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Crescent. It's a great help. I'm freaking wish I was Jaws from Jaws. He's my favorite, most well-developed character. The way he goes, rah. And then they bring him back for all the sequels, I think. I don't know. I have never seen them. Is it the same shark? Is it multiple sharks? I don't know. I've only ever seen the first one because I'm not like a complete total idiot. Quite a sensational ending. I mean, no offense if you have seen the others and maybe they are not complete and total ass, but who would have thought Darren would guest star in the season cliffhanger as a suspect? Ask the prosecution to look into this matter. Please tell the court your findings. Darren Crescent is a member of my band, the Gavineers. He's also a detective, making the current charges serious indeed. Yet of an investigation, I found no cause to alter our case or file new charges. And your reason is? Well, I don't think he did it, so yeah. Weren't you aware of her forehead? He has an impeccable alibi. An alibi? What the hell does that mean? Let us review the facts again, shall we? Concert held on the night of the shooting was in 3 sets. Gavineers ripped up the stage during the first set. See, there's at least one other member there. There's nobody on drums, which is kind of weird, but... For the second set, I guess it took center stage. The only performers appearing were myself, Lamiror, and Maki, along with a drummer and bassist, for a total of 5. Now you may be wondering, where are the drummer and bassist? Well, you know, they're just, you can't see them because of the light. You know, the stages usually aren't very well illuminated, so, the shooting in the dressing room, however, took place during the 3rd set. Lamiror and the defendant, Maki Tobe, left the stage at that point. And the Gavineers were already rocking. This has been 2 shots rang out at the scene of the crime. Shots heard by Detective Emma Sky, mind you. I was there, I heard them. Even though apparently we shouldn't have been able to hear them. You heard them too, right? I sure did. Furthermore, Lamiror herself witnessed the moment of the crime. Well, perhaps I should say she heard the moment of the crime, but she claims to have heard Mr. Latouche and Detective Crescent talking. Well, that's impossible. Detective Crescent was... Precisely. Detective Crescent was on stage, getting his groove on, no less. Voila! A perfect alibi. Huh. Was the defense have anything to add to this? It's true, when I heard those gunshots, he must have been on stage. Still, there's something here that doesn't quite add up. Here's the defense has no objections. I believe we can safely say that Darren Crescent's alibi has been acknowledged. It means that Lamiror was sadly mistaken. Her testimony cannot be true. Very well, of course. We disregard her testimony. Then I see no evidence keeping us from declaring a verdict. If indeed there are no objections, well, what about all the evidence that our client didn't do it? I don't care about that. Apollo, if he declares a verdict now... But Prosecutor Gavin's case is airtight. Lamiror might have been lying to protect Maki. I couldn't rely on her testimony. Wait, what about yesterday in the detention center? leaf, fern, alien god, musical note. Not the case. What about the case? Yeah, he wants to tell us about the death. Yep. Meeting's over. Haha, I'm back. You thought one flashback was enough? Was there a fucking word count in this game? Where they're like, oh no, sorry, your case isn't complete. You need to hit a word count. Maybe the best thing to do is ask him, under oath. Very well, the court finds the defendant, what was his name again? Your Honor? Oh, that wasn't it. It was something like Marquis or Mr. Justice? Your Honor, before you declare a verdict, I would like to call another witness. Exactly who else do you need to hear from? A witness who until now has not been given a chance to speak in this court. Because he doesn't speak English. You don't mean... I do. The defense calls defendant Maki Tobe to the stand. What? Well, he doesn't speak English. We'll use an interpreter. Interpreter? I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere. I would speak a few phrases such as, I love you and where is the toilet? Also, I love the toilet. That's one of my favorites. The defense would like to request Lamiror as the interpreter. Lamiror? There's a possibility she's protecting the defendant. Yeah, that is true. But she'd be interpreting for the defendant. Why would she lie? This is most unusual. Bravo, her forehead. Good judge, the prosecution agrees with the defense's request. Lamiror lies, I'll be able to tell. Even my limited knowledge of the language should be enough for that. I doubt that. Well, if prosecution and defense are for this, I see little cause for refusal. Finally, some progress. Bailiff, please show the defendant Lamiror on the witness stand. So, Detective Gavin, you said that you'd be able to tell if she's lying based on your limited knowledge? Yes, if she ever says anything about the library or the bathroom, I'll know. I suppose there's a first time for everything. Shall we proceed? Your name to begin with, if you would, Lamiror. Yes. He says, Maki Tobe, the defendant. Huh, this is certainly a first time for this courtroom. I don't think we need an interpretation of that message in particular. So far, so good. Very well, Mr. Justice, if you do your thing or whatever. Huh? If I would what, Your Honor? Would what? You called the defendant to the stand, did you not? What would you have him testify about? What I wanted to testify about? I hadn't thought of that far yet. Apollo? Aren't you going to ask him what he was about to tell us yesterday? I can't if I don't know what he was going to say. Excuse me for a moment, if I might please. Yes? Just now, Maki said there's something about which he wishes to testify. Maki wants to testify about something. What could it be? What sort of testimony are you talking about? One moment, please. He says he does not recognize the authority of this court. Spitz is killing me. What? What? Well, are you done chatting? According to Maki, he has proof of his innocence. What? This is a surprise. Well, victory, Apollo, we did it! This is sounding too good to believe, and I know what that usually means. Well, if that's true, then this is vital testimony. Lamiror, Maki, somebody talk. Please testify to the court. Very well. Proof of innocence. He says that the word of Mr. Latou's death came as a great shock. But if the killing truly followed the lyrics of my song, I, that is he, could not have done it. He says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them. Alright, yeah, I said that earlier in the game. Huh, he wouldn't have understood the English lyrics to the song. I would have prevented from following them so closely. What would he meant by proof? I'd only have to ask Lamiror to know the meaning of that song. Lamiror, you ever explain the lyrics of that song to him? I did tell him generally what the song is about, but never in so much detail, and he never asked. Has my oft-repeated warning already fled that forehead? Limber might be protecting the witness. Well, anyway, let us proceed with the cross-examination. Mr. Justice, if you would. Now, you may be wondering, why are we even taking her at her word, considering that she's lied like 14 times in this court? I don't know. I feel like she probably wouldn't be considered a credible witness, but... Something's hidden in that testimony. I know it. I just have to trust my bracelet to tell me where it is. It worked yesterday. It'll work today. Did it work yesterday? Alright. Your ass is about to get vibed. Hey, cameras are great shot. You may as well just press everything first for content. Were Maki and Mr. Latouche close? Yes, after we traveled around the world on tour together. Let me roar. This is Maki's cross-examination, not yours. But I knew the answer. This is a court of law. We'll play by the book. I understand. Prosecutor Gavin's tough. He's really tough. He says that he kind of creeped him out and that he is glad he died. Maki says he was very good friends with Mr. Latouche. Mr. Latouche was always a gentleman, never angry. We got along quite well. I never dreamed something like this would happen. The guitar serenade, correct? Yes, the crime followed the lyrics of the song. The theft of the key ring, the burning guitar, and the bullet. That is why it could not have been me. Okay. Oh, wait, go back, go back. Go back, go back. I could not have done it, you mean? It is very simple. Maki could not have done all the things that happened that day. For all these things, follow the song lyrics closely. Wouldn't it be difficult for him to perform without knowing the meaning of the lyrics? Not really, no. He did not know what the song was about, this mood, shall we say. Or he did know, that was enough to play by. I told him it was a song about a guitar and love. It's not actually the guitar that's in love, strictly speaking. Oh, perhaps I misunderstood. No, not really. Yours is also a valid interpretation. Okay. No, it is my fault. I too am used to singing in Borgian. It is much easier than trying to understand these English lyrics. I knew he was innocent. I believe he is too, Trucy. I do. What's wrong, Apollo? You got a tummy ache or something? Something's hidden in that testimony. If it's the truth, I'll find it. Okay, so nothing really stood out to me. So, like, who am I looking to vibe check? Am I looking to vibe check him? Or am I looking to vibe check her? Because if I'm looking to vibe check her, word of Mr. Latouche's death came as a great shock. I mean, the idea that they would have been very close friends is a little weird to me, considering they would have just met. And I mean, it is the only one where her pose is different, because this man is not changing. I don't know, we'll look at this one. Oh, you can kind of see your eyes. I wonder if maybe your eyes twitch or something? Nothing's happening. Okay, let's look at, well, is there anything else we can see? We can't really see like any hands or anything. And then her. Didn't we already like didn't we vibe check her once already? Was like something to do with her like he swallowed? Or is that somebody different? Well, since we can see his eyes when we're vibe checking, that could be it. Let's look at this phrase. Oh, get blasted? Maki. Can't fool my eyes. You glanced toward her the very moment Lamoureux said the word English. Why? And don't bother interpreting that. He understands me. Maki, tell the truth. You can understand English, can't you? I mean, just because he understands one word doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, English would probably be English in Borgian, so of course you would glance if you recognize the word. But, you know, it'd be approximately the same. What are you saying? Of course he can't. Must he continue the charade? Mr. Justice, Maki says this. I knew the word English. Huh? Before coming to this country, you heard me speaking English. You learned the name for this language, that is all. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty valid defense. But give me a break. Is that such an unusual word to understand? Do you not know Espanol, for instance? Well, yeah, but... I am sorry, but he truly does not understand your language. Well, then explain this. How does he know the crime follow the lyrics? Have you always been such a suspicious-minded lad? It is simple, so simple it hardly requires an explanation. He read about it in the newspaper. Oh, okay. Didn't they say something wasn't mentioned? It doesn't mention the lyrics, okay. The newspaper? The Borgian Daily Bugle, you can buy it in this country these days, you know. We don't know why, but you can. They have already begun to report about this case in our homeland. The country is so small it only has one newspaper, yet somehow international copies make their way out. I was right. What is wrong, Mr. Justice? Your eyes, they are quite fierce all of a sudden. Maki is lying. Maybe it's time to show them proof that he's lying. I have here a Borgian newspaper. The Borgian Daily Bugle, as a matter of fact. Indeed, there is a future article about the case. Did you read this for me, Maki? That's right. Doesn't mention the lyrics. What? What is this all about? Sorry, Maki. You couldn't have read about the lyrics in a Borgian newspaper. What does this mean? I don't see how it's possible. Ah, I know. You must have heard the lyrics and the police were doing their questioning, yes. Not possible. The subject of the lyrics was not brought up in police questioning. Just take my word for that. I read the full report myself. So the lyrics were in the newspaper and the police didn't mention them. The only place you could have heard them was in this courtroom. In English, no less. The witness will explain herself, or himself. Maki says, he says... Yes? It is true, I read the newspaper, but this is not where I learned the lyrics. I was mistaken. Now I remember. You remember? He says he heard of the lyrics from me. What? What? I mean, that's what I would have said. Is this true, Lamoureux? Yes, I'm afraid I had forgotten it myself. It looks like our forehead's been jumping to conclusions again. Seems so, yes. I don't know, are we trying to say that are we trying to say Maki's the one who did it? I mean, that's okay. I would prefer that over Shark Boy being the killer, but... I was on to something, I know it. I mean, it could be, what I would like the most, then, is maybe they were both involved. Because, I mean, there is a motive for Maki to kill Latouche if he was trying to, catch him smuggling. And then maybe Darren was the buyer for some reason. And so they worked together to kill Latouche. I was on to something, I know it. I can't let this chance slip away. Time is an issue today, Mr. Justice. Are you finished with the cross-examination? What are you gonna do, Apollo? I'm gonna keep on cross-examining. I better have an angle of attack. Or else. Bracelet's still reacting. Your Honor, please allow me to continue. If you must, you must. Very well, witness. I understand. It's I who explained the crime. Okay, so you're probably lying now. Exactly how much did you explain to Maki? This is a question for me, yes? This interpretation thing is getting old fast. I told him that Mr. Latus had been killed, and while he was a suspect, I told him about the crimes of the day following my song. Did you mention any particular words of the song relating to the case, such as heart? Yes, of course I explained this. He was quite surprised. I knew he was innocent. I believe he is too, Trucy. I do. What's wrong, Apollo? You got a tummy ache or something? Something's hidden in that testimony. If it's the truth, I'll find it. No, please, back. Go faster! I don't know why sometimes you can skip the text and sometimes you can't. Okay, so give vibe check, lady. You fool. You fool. Lamuror. I'm currently cross-examining Maki. Why should you be uncertain? Me? Uncertain? Yes, you swallowed the very moment you told the court. Yeah, that's how I got him convicted of murder, because they swallowed. Only murderers swallow. It was I who explained? I see there's little point in trying to hide, but like you could. You don't have to fess up. Lamuror, are you indeed protecting someone? That is not a question with a simple answer. To tell the truth, I do not believe it myself. And allow me to answer for you. Lamuror, you're protecting... Well, I mean, I presume Maki. Lamuror, you are protecting Maki. So you lied and told us you explained how the crime followed the song. I don't fault you for trying to help, but this is not the way. Maki, I believe you didn't do it, really. I trust you. But you've lied to us twice. And then you have Lamuror lying on your behalf. This is going to work. You have to trust me too. Okay, so we're not going with the angle that Maki was actually the killer. Which I wouldn't... I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't have been opposed to it, but it's kind of like... We already did that in one of the previous games, where the whole, you know... Your defendant is guilty. And I feel like that was done really well in Phoenix Wright 2, so I wouldn't really want to revisit that. The only way I could see it kind of being a little bit different is that he worked with the killer for some reason. Like, you know, it was like a two-killer situation. I wouldn't be against that. Two lies cover a simple truth. You understand English, you have to. Oh god, what's he gonna sound like? Probably, I don't know. Witness, is this true? Do you understand English? Yes, a little, only. It is I, Latus, back from the dead. 'Twas why we were such close friends, because we sound the same, despite our difference in stature. First he can see, now he can talk. And you, did you not know about this, Lamuror? No, I did not. It is quite a surprise. How many secrets does witness hiding? I am 41. Last. This is last. Maki, can you tell us what really happened? No shoot. I didn't know shooting. So you weren't in the dressing room when I heard those two gunshots, correct? Apparently the answer to that question isn't simple either. I was in dressing room behind desk, manager, he on floor. It'd be after the shooting, right? Then, there is voice. Voice? Voices? Was you an MO, Apollo? So when Maki went into the dressing room, Mr. Latus had already been shot, so he would have been going through the vent then. Presumably. And then we came to the door. Panel high up, I take off, run away, run away. So it was you who escaped through that air vent. As the prosecution has held all along, no less. The defendant has admitted to being at the scene. Why don't we take this as a confession? No, he's clearly denied that he did it. I know shooting. Manager on floor. Already on floor. The victim had already been shot, you say? I find that hard to believe. The defendant understood the song lyrics. He was at the scene of the crime. This can only mean one thing. He is the shooter. And we also have to touch on, like, why would the killing follow the song lyrics? Which, I mean, if we presume Shark Boy's the killer, I guess it would be something to do with, like, by having there be a murder to Gavin's lyrics. It might, like, taint his career because he's jealous or something. I don't really know. Maybe it's like he's trying to kill, like, multiple birds with one stone. Because I don't really get the angle there. Does the defender have anything to say to this? He's cleaned up, Apollo. And let's ask Mr. Justice. Will you require any further testimony from the witness? Is that it? Is there nothing else I can get him to testify about? Wait, no, of course there is. What is this a cocoon anyway? Goat. The cocoon, the silk is a potent cure. Cure? Well, Maki, are you a smuggler? He said, Fern, I do not know what this means. You won't tell me. Cocoon has to have something to do with this. Maki, please tell us the truth for your own sake. No, no more speak. Not to any of you. So much for your precious trust, her forehead. Hey, you were the one who didn't believe him. Regardless, this brings us to an impasse. And you may as well confess and hope you get to, like, not be guilty and then get to stay in the country. Because your ass is getting executed regardless. Like, you know, either, I mean, I get that he doesn't want to lie because then he can't go back to his home, or he doesn't want to tell the truth because he'll get executed for smuggling, but he's going to get executed here. So, us between the defense and the defendant are at odds. Now we'd like to learn anything more of value should this continue. I see no other course but to declare a 5-minute recess. The defense will work things out with the defendant so that we might proceed. Bailiff, you already know what time it is. Apollo Eustace. That's justice, but I'm going to say it if you want to get some. Believe, I no shoot. Maki claims that Mr. Latouche was already down on the ground when he entered the room. Maybe it was a trap and he walked right into it? Okay, so that does also kind of correlate with the idea that the shooting took place much earlier than we thought. I feel like that we can pretty much definitively say that now. Because there's no way he could have entered in there before us and not have seen the shooter. So the shooting must have happened approximately 30 minutes before, during the second set. But then that does... There is the question of, like, the mixing board then. Because if the murder happened then I don't know what the discrepancy here is. Because I was thinking that it's like, you know, he's playing back a recording or something. I don't really know how the mixing board plays in. If it's not going to be used to prove that he was doing the murder during the third set. Because I feel like there's no way they could have this so many inconsistencies and not have it be that, like, he was actually killed. Or he was shot, you know, a good bit before we got there. Suddenly, I hear revolver. Close, very close. And I hear voice. You heard gunshots? Yes, it's true. I hear revolver, but only sound. But you're saying you went into the dressing room? And found Mr. Latouche already dead, and then you heard shots? That's true. Okay, so that would have probably been the recording of the shots that we heard. So you were at the scene of the crime when you heard these shots. And you escaped through the air vent. I know. What do you know? Math. All the math. Many numbers inside my head. I know if I open in vents, I can leave stage and backstage. So the vents went to both the stage and the backstage area? Is that what he means? Hey, he's right. Look, Apollo. Huh? Yeah. How do you know it was connected like that? Wait, I bet his father was the architect that is out in the hall or something. Or he knew about the trick. I hear this from magician. Magician? Oh, maybe he like said it aloud because he didn't think he understood English? Don't look at me! Magician, huh? Well, at least we're clear on one thing. Maki didn't shoot Mr. Latouche. Yeah, what does that leave us with? We're supposed to say he went into the room to find the body and then he heard the shots? That one's going to go over well in court. Not. Apollo, you're his defense. You're supposed to believe whatever he says, even lies. Well, that's what Daddy always told me. No, he didn't. An integral part of Phoenix Wright's character arc was that he got that client convicted that one time. I'll just pretend you misheard him every time. So, what do we do? You sure you won't testify, Maki? Ain't no talk, no. It was worth a shot. That cocoon. I seen it. I've seen it. God, please. Of course he's scared. Oh well, I guess we'll just have to try a different approach. That's the spirit, Apollo. What's your plan? Monkey won't testify about it. We'll have to get someone else to testify. Someone else? I think we're out of time. Let's get back in there. Right! He's not here right now? He's been written out of the game? Court is now back in session. Mr. Justice, have you sorted things out with the defendant? Yes, Your Honor. We had a good talk. Very well. So, are you going to testify? No. Well, alright. Guilty. Going to the hospital. See ya. Your Honor, the defendant will not testify. What? Shame, and here I thought this was your big chance to turn the case around. Actually, it is. The defense would like to approach this case from a different angle, Your Honor. A different angle? Maki won't testify, and I know who will. I would like to cross-examine the witness in this case, Lamuroy. Again? Man, I'm almost tired of seeing this lady. What are you up to now? This lady's literally lied to us like 20 times in court. Why the hell would we consider a credible witness? Oh, we determined yesterday that Lamuroy's testimony was insubstantial. There's nothing you can... Lamuroy was taken to the hospital yesterday with injuries. What happened? He was assaulted, Your Honor. Assaulted? Someone wanted Lamuroy dead. Thankfully, she was able to save herself. What? I've heard no such report. Wait, really? Prosecutor Gavin. Why would anyone be out to kill Lamuroy? Can you think of a reason? Well, think of how she's known in our country. A singer from overseas who doesn't speak English, yes? Yet someone tried to keep her mouth shut. Who could that have been? You don't think... I do. It was the same person who shot Mr. Latouche. The killer was afraid of her, afraid of what you might say. The defense believes that something was hidden in her testimony yesterday. Something that the killer doesn't want getting out. I might understand that this is what you're saying. Namely, that there's a nugget of truth in Lamuroy's testimony. A nugget we have yet to uncover? Exactly. Lamuroy was attacked. This has serious implications. Very well. There were some vague points in her testimony during yesterday's trial. Totally, I noticed them. I was paying attention. Perhaps they did not inquire as deeply as they might have into some. Or we'll hear her testimony once more. I am the tired of coming into this room. Lamuroy, I must apologize. We ask you to stand again and speak. You need not apologize. I know that Maki is innocent, and I will do all I can until the court realizes this. Let's review your testimony from yesterday. You told us you heard 2 gunshots and the shooter's voice through the window. And the voice belonged to Darren Crescend, yes? That is correct. At which points I proved she could not be correct. He couldn't have heard any of those things. The small window at the scene was closed and was found to be quite soundproof. Well, nothing to say to that, Mr. Justice. Well, I mean, just because it was, even if it was closed at the time, doesn't mean it was, or even if it was closed after the fact, doesn't mean it was closed at the time. I don't know exactly what yet, but I do know there's something there. There is, it seems, much you do not know. And yet it's my duty to hear him out. Perhaps a witness would be so kind as to testify once more to the court? Of course, Your Honor. What I heard. I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. As when I heard them, Mr. Lutus and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and stopped. Then I heard another gunshot. There was smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but okay, you being able to smell through the wall, that's slightly. I'll buy that a little bit less than you not being like I feel like that's a more like that's kind of weird than like her being able to hear through the wall. I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window. I said, "This is America. This is just what happens here, no? Sometimes people get shot. I was trying to just try not to get shot myself." Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony. I am sorry. I am not used to speaking much in this language. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yes, everything I said here is the truth. It is my distinct displeasure to say this. What you have said to have happened is impossible. I'll have to repeat myself. Lima was attacked because of this testimony. What, Trucy? Apollo, you know, for a moment there, you were pretty cool. Maybe I do better when I don't try and think ahead. Very well, Mr. Justice. Perhaps you can coolly cross-examine this witness while I eat some Cool Whip. Straight from the can. Is something wrong? I raised an objection, but she's saying the same thing she said before. Mr. Justice? Sorry, it's nothing. Please continue your testimony. I don't know what to mean about the reckless youth these days. The one inbred over there's a shining example here, Judge. You're the last person you be pointing fingers, Mr. Rockstar. Darren Crescent. I did not know his name at the time. But yes, it was him, the one who took the stand yesterday. How many times I need to remind you that's impossible? There's no way you could have heard him. Because the window at the scene was closed? Is that why? Of course. Apollo, if we keep asking the same questions yesterday, we won't get anywhere. I'm just pressing for content, alright? Did you hear anything else? Did you happen to hear anything else at that time? Anything else? Anything else besides the victim and the shooter's conversation? Anything at all? That's quite the vague question. Other than the conversation, I heard a clock ticking, 2 men breathing, footsteps. That is all. Nothing new there as expected. I was hoping for a little more than that. Perhaps we should carry on with the cross-examination. So we might have to circle back around there, but the gunpowder thing is new. I believe there were 2 gunshots. Yes, I heard 2, one after the other. That fits with the bullet holes at the scene. Nothing really new here to pick up. I mean, can we not narrow in on the time span? If she was leaving backstage after her set, that would be like before. Why didn't you tell someone immediately? Well, if it were me, I would have gone to the police right away. It's our duty as citizens. I am not a citizen. I am from another country, Judge. Maybe besides the point. God, I hate when I make a joke and then they say the same thing, man. I mean, I guess I don't hate it, but it is funny. I mean, at least they cover their bases sometimes. Though one thing one would hope such common sense prevails in Borgina as well. Everywhere seems awfully quiet all of a sudden. That's strange. Could she be hiding something? It is as you say, yet at the time I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window. You were in a hurry to go where? I was on my way to the backstage exit, as I have said. Why are you in such a hurry then? Because she had to get away because her set had just ended. Well, I don't think that has anything to do with this case. Oh, is it that she was actually backstage when she was doing her transition? Like, for the magic part? So that would confirm that this happened during her set? Is that where we're going with this? It very well might. Please answer the question. Are you alright, Lemuroy? Yes, I am just tired. How what I told you yesterday, her forehead. Lemuroy suffers from serious amnesia. Please refrain from traumatizing her further. What, so you can just dismiss questions he thinks are too traumatizing? Why didn't you prove her reason had a connection to the case for asking about it, yeah? Prosecution's objection is sustained. Her question is moot. Mr. Justice, please continue your cross-examination. The tap because of this testimony. Okay, so I mean, I feel like there's something there, but I don't know how we make the connection. Okay, so let's go back to this one where we had the multiple prompts. Oh wait, was it this one? I don't remember which one had the multiple prompts. I don't know, this is this again. Okay, so it was before the gunshot one? Alright, what were they talking about? You by any chance remember what they were saying to each other? If so, please tell us. I have given it much reflection, but I'm afraid of this. She doesn't remember. I only heard one phrase clearly. A whole phrase? You remember something that was said? Why didn't you say anything yesterday? Because I had to make it up first. My memory is clear. I was afraid to speak. You see, I do not understand what was said. This could be it. The clue I've been waiting for. Well, what did he say? It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latus. The shooter then, daring percent. What'd he say? It's over. Press the switch. Now. Switch. Shooter said this to the victim, Mr. Latus. Thought it quite strange myself after a... it's a mystery. What could it possibly mean? Mr. Justice, care to shed some light on this? I mean, sure, I'd be delighted. It's, very, very vital. Could we add that to the testimony? Maybe, Apollo? Okay, so this is... Because technically if we present the switch, that's not, like, a contradiction or anything, but... Okay, the game took it. Press the switch? There's only one key that can unlock the mystery of those words. Oh? Yet there was nothing at the scene that could be called a switch, save the lights. True, there wasn't a switch at the scene. But it just so happens, I have a switch right here. This whole court is rigged to blow. If you don't let my client go, we're all going. Okay, yeah, not guilty. See ya. That certainly does look like a switch, doesn't it? Problem is, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on the stage. The stage? Where the concert was held, yes? It was found hidden there. On the stage. Are you claiming that the voice Lemuroy heard? Is there someone commanding another to press the switch? It's a possibility. Oh, her forehead? I call that an impossibility. Why? It's hardly necessary for me to remind the court of the layout of the concert form. The stage is quite far from Lemuroy's dressing room. Not to mention the Gavineers were in the middle of a concert on said stage. We are known for being a quiet band. You could all shout all you want and not be heard. Hector's voice was odd, but he's certainly not to shout. So too have her forehead's cries of possibility fallen far short of being heard. You know, I feel like I've been ignoring this. My forehead's not that big, man. I feel like it's not any bigger than anybody else's forehead. Why does it have to be a distinguishing feature? I mean, like, yeah, maybe it's a little large, but it's like a lot of people have large foreheads. I don't know. You have a large forehead. Forehead? Sorry, but it wouldn't have needed to shout. I mean, you have like the same forehead as me. You just cover it with your hair, loser. Excuse me? You heard what I said? You need me to shout it out for you. Would have been quite simple to be heard on the stage in that dressing room. Oh wait, you like evidence, don't you? So how about this? Using this would be so easy to get a message to someone from the dressing room? Yeah, that's right, this egg. Prosecutor Gavin, Perhaps you're familiar with this? Why, that's... What is it? Is that some kind of newfangled phone they invented while I wasn't looking? This is a type of transmitter. Communications device. Communications device? Man, that's Steve Apple. He's really going crazy with these inventions. From what I've heard, that night, everyone on stage is wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, actually, they're for talking between band members. We all had one. We admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from the backstage to the stage would be simple. True, but wait, those send out an electronic signal. To avoid interference with the audio systems, their range is quite limited. Remember, said it was about 30 feet, right? Look at this cross-section diagram of the concert form. Exactly. The walk from the stage to the backstage seems far, but the direct distance is less than 30 feet. That can't be! Well, when Lamro heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on stage. You're claiming this is the switch in question? Why did it have to be on the stage at this time? It could be placed in a pocket and carried anywhere. Someone could have hid it on the stage after the fact. Hey, he's got a point. That's why he's pointing. How do we know where it was when she heard the voice? When the shooters had pressed the switch. Guess we don't. An unfortunate situation. Pray that until we know where the switch was, there's little point in debating it. Sure, this is the way to go with this. What is the switch anyway? I don't even know that basic fact. Wait a second. I know what this switch is. If you follow that train of logic, it's an incredible conclusion. It ends up in proof that completely changes this case. What's up, Apollo? Apollo? We know about the switch, right? We know what it is? Yeah? Think of when it was used that day. Think of what happened. Well, Mr. Justice, you have no further information to share concerning the switch? Your Honor. Yes? I've been remiss in not telling the court this before. I know what the switch is. Well, it seems the defense is set upon linking the switch to the case. Let's see your evidence of this link. What evidence do you have to explain what this switch is? Get ignited, nerds. Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this. That's... But what? Is this another one of those newfangled phones? Those people are freaking crazy. This is an igniter. What phone looks like this? You don't know, man. You don't know what technology's gonna look like. What sort of technological abominations are gonna be coming out here in the future? Igniter? You mean like a lighter? Yes, actually. You know saying the switch is a remote? I am. This is a remote trigger for an igniter. What? Look, I'll show you. Yow, 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 yow! Mr. Justice, you will cease and desist from burning down this courtroom. At least while I'm in it. If you want to do it when I'm on break, so be it. I'm ready to retire. I've been at this job for 3,000 years. Sorry, hell's a bit more fire than I expected. My whisker caught on fire. I'll have you know it takes me 3 days to grow a beard this big. Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. This switch is a remote igniter trigger. You stumbled over your words. Haha, that means that I don't have to even pay attention to your legal logic. Get wrecked. The defendant is now declared guilty. Haha. Does that suggest something to you? You're talking about what happened to me, aren't you? Ah! Exactly. That night at the concert, there was one unusual burst of flame. When your guitar caught fire in the middle of your performance. Wasn't that part of the stage show, though? I thought he was just, ripping them strings so fast that it combusted. By the power of rock and roll. Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware such a thing had been planned. And the guitar that burned was a valuable keepsake. That's right, he got it in Borghina from Lammeror. He said the sound was amazing. Before it burned, of course. Now it just kind of smokes. The better the guitar, the brighter it burns. Her forehead. Yeah? Don't tell me you're trying to tie these two things together. Those being the shooter's voice heard by Lammeror, and the guitar suddenly catching on fire. I am. It's really simple when you think about it. Mr. Latouche and the shooter were at the crime scene. The shooter was wearing a headset. He ordered someone on stage to press a switch. The switch was pressed and the guitar caught fire. That does seem to make sense. Okay, so Maki was involved in some capacity. That seems to be what we're saying. Something about this. So, because I mean, I feel like we haven't established yet, but it's gotta be. I mean, I would be like really pissed if they don't say that this happened during the second set because there's so many inconsistencies. There's something about this bugging me. I can't quite put my finger on it. So, Maki, we found in the piano. Maki was on the piano at that time. Really, it seems pretty simple to me. You just said that. Your forehead. Don't destroy the little respect I have for you. I was expecting something a little more sensible. Guess I was wrong. What's this all about, Prosecutor Gavin? This simple story simply makes no sense. Think, that night my guitar caught fire, yes? The cause may have been this indeed. However, the guitar caught fire during the second set. Okay, so this is going to be our segue into it, finally. To a degree, I'm also like a little annoyed that like we've let this sit for so long. The obvious inconsistencies between the time frame that we've never bothered to ask her, hey, when did you hear the gunshots? Indeed, yet the shooting happened during the third set. These two are utterly unrelated. Well, yes, that must have been what was bugging me. The whole premise of this is faulty. See, his story makes no sense. You sure about that? Well, Gavin, sounds like you just activated your trap card. What exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice? Maybe it's not the premise for my explanation of the switch that's at fault. Maybe it's our premise for the entire case so far. What premise was this specifically? Glad you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place in the third act. Let's go. What's this? Detective Emma Sky heard shots and found the body. Oh, this happened in the third act. Gunshots rang out, and according to his testimony, Maki was in that dressing room at the time. Where are you going with this, Mr. Justice? Stay with me, Your Honor. He also told us this in his testimony, namely that the victim had already been shot. They all heard gunshots, and no one saw the shooting. This is insane! Just before the shooting took place, the shooter was heard on his headset, telling someone to press the switch. The next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. We know that a remote trigger ignited what was inside the guitar. From all these facts, we can only draw one conclusion. The crime did not take place during the third act, but during the ballad performance, the second act. What? Order, order, order? Damn right. Damn right. That goes against the evidence. Screw the evidence. What does, Your Honor? This crime was carried out according to the lyrics of that song, yes? Hey, he's right, look. The bullet's supposed to come after the fire. You're thinking about it the wrong way. Huh? Look. Why would the shooter craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyway? It's an awful lot of trouble to go through. With little merit for the person doing it. Well, I'm sure whoever it was had some reason. Yeah, they did. A reason that made it advantageous to follow the lyrics. You're saying the order was reversed on purpose? Reversed? Prosecutor Gavin. If the criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes. The shooting would have to have come after the guitar burst into flame. Yet her forehead has raised another possibility. Is that going to be the explanation for the lyrics? A little weak, but I'll take it at least. He's claiming that the bullet came not after, but just before the fire. Couldn't have put it better myself. We were only meant to think the shooting came after the guitar burst into flame. What about the 85 other inconsistencies with the story up to this point? Oh, well, we didn't think about that. That was the criminal's objective. The crime followed the lyrics to a point, but that was the ruse. Why else would the killer risk discovery by moving the body? That was the final touch to make us think he followed the lyrics the whole way. Hey, why have we never asked why Maki was passed out there if we think he's the killer? Hey, why have we never really investigated that aspect? No, okay, whatever. Order. That would explain this most unusual situation. It does. The killer changed the order of events to create himself an alibi. In other words, the killer was somebody who had an alibi for the third set, but not the second. I suppose we'll find out who that was, even though we already know. Next time. I'm Extra Cheesy 87. Stay tuned for the next part. And bye, guys.